Hi, I'm Bruce, and this is my good friend Leon, and we're both
Hi,
coaches.
Bruce.
And today we're going to talk to you about how to get unstuck, how to access freedom and flow and potentials that might be feeling blocked or frustrated in relationships or in work situations or in financial situations. And we're quite excited to have this conversation with you today, and we hope that it can be helpful to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Leon, so many people do feel frustrated and stuck, and these blocks play out as financial difficulties or conflict in relationships, or feeling stressed at work, or feeling burdened by life. And a lot of what people really want is to feel free again, to feel good again, to feel unburdened again, and to feel like, their life is theirs again. They're not trapped and stuck. And so as coaches, we're really interested in this, interested in how to bring people back into connection with their true self, how they can start to live healthy, thriving life on their terms again. And so I guess there are a couple of concepts to look at. And one of the first concepts is just, what does energy flow mean? What does it mean to be open and feeling good? And, you and I both love walking and different forms of exercise. And we both know that when we go for a walk, or I go for a run, or whatever form it is, usually after a bit of time, something inside relaxes. I start to feel good. I start to feel open. I start to feel connected. And this feeling of well-being returns. And that's a sign that my body knows how to experience well-being. I got it inside me. I know how it feels. And I'm starting to recognize how there's this one area of my life where I can reliably access it. So do you want to add to that on what you understand flow to be and energy flow?
Yes, Bruce, thank you for that introduction. The one approach, or let's say a perspective that I quite like, is that we are multi-talented and multifaceted beings with this capacity built innate in ourselves to be joyous, to be happy, to be creative, to be in gratitude about life and about the present moment. But sometimes this capacity, this innate capacity, this built-in neurology or approach, this, as we called it the other day, a week or two ago, the superpower to look for the positive and the creative and the expansive, that sometimes gets blocked. And I think our bodies are beautifully designed to not only show us when certain contractions or symptoms wake us up to the fact that we're looking at a constricted picture or a limited picture. Our bodies are so well designed to bring that awareness, those symptoms, those awareness, those sensations to us as a signaling system, which I really appreciate. And I think that is so great about being human, is that we have this superpower to connect to. So that's for the first comment I would like to add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Then on another level, or maybe the same level, the moment I notice that I feel stuck, let's use that word, it's a good indication that my thinking is also stuck. That maybe I'm too much in my left brain, that I'm not using the power of whole brain thinking, that I got stuck because I think too linear. I think from A to B. I think I wanted to achieve this month, and I only achieved that. So I look at the picture that is unsatisfying because I haven't achieved my goal. So from that perspective, I've been stuck in my left brain. I'm stuck in measuring things endlessly, and I'm not making progress. So when that happens, then obviously it's time to relax that thinking.
Mm.
And so maybe what you can do is pick up on what are the ways to relax that kind of thinking.
Mm. Sure. And just before I go there, I think it's so, so foundational to understand that our bodies have an intelligence. In today's world, the intelligence of the mind that is problem solving and can get rapid results tends to be prioritized. And so much of our jobs and our sense of worth is involved in being able to solve problems rapidly to create results. And the consequence of living in this mental state is often a sense of disconnection and alienation from the true self. And there's not a public embrace of the innate intelligence we have in our emotional system and our somatic system. Yet this really becomes the key. Like you say, our bodies have a superpower that if we can start to access this intelligence and what our bodies are saying to us through our emotional and somatic experiences, we can start to have a different way of approaching our difficulty, a different way of approaching struggles and conflicts or challenges in life, which is not geared around dominating the challenge with a solution, but rather skillfully engaging with your whole being in order to access your own potentials that can respond in a way that is true for you, which can bring forth the results that are right for you. And so this whole shift in mindset really says, what is the problem our disconnection from ourselves, or is the problem our lack of capacity to know how to do something? And I think the solution is we find a new way of doing things through reconnecting to our own body's intelligence and through learning how to access energy and flow. And so, one of the ways that we do this, which I spoke about at the start of the conversation, is we just start to get a sense of where do I feel my energy can flow, and where can I drop my mind and actually just surrender to my experience. And surrender simply means I'm okay doing what I'm doing. I am where I am right now, and I feel quite good about it. That's the very simple definition of surrender. And you and I experienced this by going for a walk. We walk for a while, and something relaxes, we drop, we feel open, and at the end of it, we just feel better about ourselves. And what the gift of that walk does, it allows us to connect to the direct embodied experience of saying, what does it mean to feel open and free and good? And this becomes an important compass point to say, well, we want to head towards a similar kind of way of openness in the areas where I feel stuck. Like if I could feel open and free and good around my relational situation, or open and free and good in my financial situation, my life would be better because I would feel free. And what we found as well is if you can feel that around these situations, very often the real solution for how the situation can transform itself comes into awareness. But it's very difficult to access the right solution when you're feeling stuck and blocked and you disconnect from your own intelligence.
Mm. To pick up there, we earlier spoke about Professor Ian McGilchrist, who talks about the master and the emissary as the right brain and the left brain. And I think to use that language and that metaphor just a little bit to explain what constriction and contraction and tensing up all means in the workplace is that typically at the moment, there's a whole lot of pressure on the individual, on the executive from different angles. There's pressure and expectations from the family system. Certain bills need to be paid. The economic infrastructure of the household needs to be upheld. School fees need to be paid. But from the work perspective, more performance is required. Profit margins need to be increased. Salaries need to be decreased because the economic model as we understand it right now does not work. So what I'm integrating from what you've just said, it's so important that we also do self-care, that we look after the body, that we relax the body, because when the body is not relaxed, it's not going to help to put the left brain, so to speak, under more pressure for performance, for linear performance, from moving A to B and B to C, absolute in a linear way, in order to create linear results. We also need to step back and integrate the right brain, or as Professor Gilchrist called it, the master, which can also see the bigger picture, can connect to feelings. So important question in a coaching scenario is to ask, what am I disconnected from when I tense up, when I'm constricted, when I'm feeling blocked, frustrated, resistant, not wanting to be participating in this team because there's a sense of disconnect from my true self, as you call it, or from inspiration, from movement, from an expansive, inspiring feeling. Now, those are the danger signs, because we know what we as humans have created, especially in the West, the Western economy, and how that has a perpetual influence on our way of having a well-being experience, or an experience that says, I want to be out of here. I just want to get out of here.
I like that. And I love the question, what are we disconnected from? And sometimes we disconnected from our capacity to move through discomfort. Often what happens is life becomes overwhelming, and the tendency is to say, I don't know how to do this. It's scary, and I don't know how to move forward. And as you were speaking, the image of the Huguenot Tunnel came to mind, which is a tunnel near Cape Town in South Africa. And I can imagine when these engineers first decided to drill the tunnel, this mountain seemed like this impenetrable fortress that they had to find a way to get through. But they knew where they wanted to be, and they knew that on the other side of this big block lay tremendous freedom, in that traffic could now flow and congestion on the roads would ease up. They could have said, oh, it's too difficult, let's just go and relax and have a beer, but nothing would have changed. But what they had to do was stay with the tension of the challenge and keep looking at it and keep focused on it, but knowing that they had to find a way through it. And they also knew how the way through would look. They knew on the other side, there would be this open hole where cars could come out. And they knew how they would feel. They would feel good about themselves. They'd done a good job. They'd feel like they could let go of the challenge. And so the potential they had to access was both the potential to move through the resistance of the rock and not move away from it, and what the solution would look like, and what the solution would feel like. You know, they had to feel good about achieving that result. So I think in someone who's battling with a lot of issues, either in a work situation or a home situation, the first step is the potential to face the challenge. To say, yes, this challenge is big, this challenge is important, and I want to find a way through it. And when I find my way through it, I know how I'm going to feel on the other side and what kind of person I'm going to be. And that sense of feeling and the person you're going to be indicates the hidden potential that's going to be unlocked. So I think, you know, there's some important components in there. We want to face the challenge, hold it all in awareness, not back away, know it's important to move through, and then stay with it, knowing that we're headed towards a certain result. Yeah.
And it's often these hidden components that you speak to, these hidden perspectives, hidden jewels or insights that we're grasping for, are often so easily accessed when we just relax the mind and the body. When we create a well-being experience for the whole body-mind system, like going on a walk, like have a good conversation with a friend, like phoning somebody up and expressing some gratitude and appreciation for that person in your life. Suddenly, these blocked feelings starts to release itself, and the insights or the innate capacity to see through what was seemingly incomprehensibly complicated suddenly becomes easy. And with relaxation, therefore, we have a much better chance to access our innate capacity to be genius.
I love that. So let's put that together into a simple set of steps somebody could follow if they're going to use walking in order to help them break through problems in life. And so the steps would be something like, give yourself 45 minutes or an hour to go for a relaxed walk. Ideally somewhere in nature or where there are not going to be distractions around and you can just walk freely and open. So that's the first step. The second step is to bring your problem to mind. And when you bring the problem to mind, just acknowledge it and then say, what would a relaxed solution feel like? So if you, for example, having a fight with your boss, a relaxed solution would be, we both in harmonious, we're in good relationship and we're smiling at each other and we agree with each other. And so that's the solution. Now the trick is when you go for the walk, your body knows how that relaxed solution should feel, but your mind that is blocked is getting in the way. And then all you have to do is just keep staying gently connected to the intention of a relaxed solution for being in good connection with your boss in a way that is honest. And as you keep walking, your body will relax, you'll get grounded, energy will start flowing, and your body is far more likely to connect to, because it's connected now to a relaxed way of walking, to connect to a relaxed solution for this work issue that you're having. And the trick is to stay connected to that, not to jump to solutions or try and think it through. Stay connected to the tension with the solution in mind, how it's going to feel. And at some point, a creative insight is going to come through for you.
And to add to that, from a practical perspective, I would encourage secretaries to play a much bigger role in the lives of the boss or of the leader, in that they can block off certain times for inspiration, for relaxation for the leader. So to work on a cooperative level to achieve this is so important. I've seen so many leaders in organizations working through their lunchtime and arriving quite early at work to beat the traffic, then leave after the traffic pattern, which means they are at the office for about 10 to 12 hours sometimes, and sitting most of the day, no stretching, no walking, no relaxation. So it is unreasonable to expect that such a person can function optimally from a creative and expansive way, being the leader of inspiration in the organization. So I think secretaries can be more strict to say, the boss is busy with inspirational time or something, but to just draw a boundary and allow the space for the leader to just do those stretches or go for that brisk walk around the block or wherever. I think that's so important to then reconnect with inspirational leadership.
Yeah, I love that, Leon, and I think the secretaries, the people who aren't in a position of power, all have superpowers. When we understand that our superpower is our capacity to choose the emotions we feel and how these emotions can have an impact on the people around us, then we start to become really influential. We move from being a product of our environment to being a creator of our environment. And I see inspirational leadership as a creative action. I think, it's different to managing, which looks at a finite amount of resources and attempts to get the maximum and best use out of a finite resource base. And I think in many of our and the tendency under times of stress is to want to manage more effectively, to get more and more and more out of less and less and less. Yet the energetic invitation for leadership is to say, can you open in this? Can you not contract? Can you allow a new life, a new energy to flow forth that can bring better and new growth and results for you? And I think that's where the role of secretaries can be really powerful, by helping their leaders remember that inspiration is the key to leadership. And the more you can access this state, then the better chance you have of doing well in your environment. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Leon. That was, I think that was a great talk to have.
Thank you.
Okay.